Welcome back to Austin here on an afternoon where Texas is hot as the weather at 47-7 at the half over UTEP. Bill Land and Gary Reasons with you, and those offensive numbers and the points look great, but Gary, I think it's predominantly because the defense has just been suffocating.
No doubt about it. Trevor Vitito hasn't been able to do anything throwing the football. The pressure by the Longhorn defense has really rattled him today. You know, the Miners have ran the football a little bit. They got about 50 yards from Buckram in the ball game, but that's really the only offense that they've had today. They've got to find a way to keep their quarterback clean a little bit, allow him to operate and throw the football.
All right, let's take a quick look at the stats because that I should say, is a dominating picture.
Well, no doubt about it here. You see the turnovers in a football game for UTEP. Those obviously turn into points when you play the Longhorns because they're taking every opportunity they can and putting points on the board. They've done a good job of rushing the football, passing the football. Colt McCoy talked about getting a fast day. His play in this game, passing yardage overall, 320 yards of total offense for the Longhorns in this ball game. And overall, it's just they've done everything right in this football game. And the defense, as Bill talked about, is playing at a high level.
All right, we're set here for the kickoff, and Texas to receive here to start the second half as the half ended with Texas missing on a 54-yard field goal attempt that went off the crossbar. This kick kind of takes a crazy bounce, and finally Goodwin, he is tackled by the neck and brought down at the 9-yard line. So Texas will have to go 91 yards. Well, what is UTEP thinking? Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, you talked about everything going right for Texas. The first thing Mike Price, the UTEP head coach, said is everything that could have gone wrong for us went wrong. They've got a lot of players banged up. They've got a lot of defenders that are tired just because they've been on the field for so long. He said they're going to change up personnel quite a bit. He just wants guys that are going to give him effort. But bottom line, he says they've got a long way to go here to get back in this game. He just wants his guys to give their best effort.
That's about all you can ask for. Yeah. Thanks very much, Emily. Don't you think, Gary?
Yeah, you just got to settle down and play and come out there, and you know they're going to get people in the ball game. They're going to get them to play and see what they can make of the second half.
Texas handing it off here. Let's take a look at what happened for the Longhorns' first half possessions.
Well, obviously in the first half, everything that they've done has turned into points for them, and that's what you want to have. The one missed field goal there at the end. So overall, just situation where the Longhorns have been very efficient offensively. You had the interception for a score. Colt McCoy threw one to the out route and turned it around for 7 points defensively. Melvin Stevenson did for UTEP. So that's really the only positive thing that UTEP has had, and it's a defensive play.
Second down for UT here, and knocked down for a moment. And then Trey Newton is tackled near the sideline around the 8-yard line.
Now that's Stevenson coming up trying to make that tackle, and Stevenson couldn't get him to the ground. We'll take a look at our leaders here for the Longhorns. Colt McCoy, very efficient, 24 of 30. 3 touchdowns, interception I mentioned. Jordan Shipley, kick returns, total yards in the ball game, 1 touchdown. Dan Buckner really has emerged on the scene as a great target for Colt McCoy. Had an exceptional catch in the end zone for a touchdown in the first half.
Yeah, he's one of that they call the flex tight end position, primary as a receiver. He's been big. Now on this play, third down, they get the first down on the reception, and Kirkendall, who dropped one earlier, made a fine grab there under some pressure, and Texas will move the chains. Blake makes the tackle, Antoine Blake.
We talked about Kirkendall, and he actually missed a touchdown opportunity. One hit him between the 1 and 1 in the first half. Colt McCoy, very sharp throwing the ball, and he does a good job what he does, Bill, leading this offense, distributing the football, reading the defense. Those offensive linemen there, they've done a good job up there all day long of protecting him and keeping him clean and allowing him to step up and make those throws.
First down situation here, and Vondrell McGee with it. Yeah, and Cromartie Smith making the stop in the secondary.
I think that Greg Davis and Mac Brown probably talked about at halftime. Let's make a commitment to run the football. Vondrell McGee, you see 2 tight ends in the ball game for Texas on that last play, trying to run power football inside, move those defensive linemen, which are a little bit undersized. Only 3 down linemen for the Miners defensively, trying to use that big offensive line to get some power football.
Second down for Texas. And Trey Newton again.
That's exactly what you have there. That sprint 34. Run into the right side behind the offensive line, do a cutback, and Trey Newton, what they talk about him that they like about him, Bill, is his ability and his vision running it. He's got good patience. When you run to the front side and you try to get there too fast, really the holes may be behind you because those offensive linemen are taking the defensive linemen where they're allowing them to go, and those cutbacks are good. Newton's done a good job with that the last couple of ball games, and let's see if he has a chance here in this ball game.
Redshirt freshman with some great high school credentials, finally got his opportunity with a few injuries. He's made the most of it here. To start today. Shipley fighting for an extra yard or two. Has the first down on the 3rd and short. Contreras makes the tackle. Texas maintains possession.
10th reception now for Jordan Shipley in this football game. Over 115, 20 yards almost now on the ball game. He's just a guy who reads the defense well. He understands the mechanics of what he needs to do. It's almost like having a quarterback as a receiver. He's that kind of a player.
So Shipley having a huge day today, not just with the receiving, but also on the punt return front. 1st and 10, Texas at the 40 of the Longhorns. McGee. Texas had mentioned that Mac Brown had told us they wanted to establish their running game, find out a little bit more what they've got there. We haven't seen Fozzie Whitaker yet here today. We still might. We'll have to wait and see. But that's something that on the long haul, they know they're going to have to be able to run the football. This is a good time as any to work on it.
Yeah, work on it. David Snow now playing center. Chris Hall a little banged up in the first half. Don't know if he's going to get back in the ballgame. He did return, but David Snow now playing center. So offensive line trying to be, I think that Coach Brown and Coach Davis probably challenge the offensive line, saying we're going to run the football here in the second half.
And run it they do. McGee, can they catch him? 25. Vondrell McGee brought down by Dustin Bell inside the 10-yard line.
And a big offensive hole there that time for Vondrell McGee to run through. Play starts to the left side, and he's going to cut it back across here, right around the block there. Snow getting up on the linebacker, making a good block, and good job this time by Bell coming in with his speed. Dustin Bell, and excellent job there running it. And see the experience there. Chris Hall, the center, not in the ball game, but the rest of them, all the starts that they've had, all that experience that they have, but they're just growing together better. They had a couple of guys missed from last year, so some of this are newer players in there for Texas, but here now in the 4th week of the season, coming together.
51-yard play sets him up 1st and goal. Childs in the wild horn, and he takes it to near the 6-yard line. John Childs. Cromartie Smith again making the stop. Damon Cromartie Smith, the senior out of Riverside, California, and their captains defensively.
Now we've seen the wild horn several times now, especially in the red zone inside the 10-yard line, and where they take Colt McCoy and put him out as a wide receiver. John Childs in the backfield. Now they're back to their normal set with Colt at the quarterback spot and in the gun formation. But Colt kind of has a pretty good take on that. He says, you know, my job on the wild horn, run out of bounds.
That's right. Stay healthy. This time, he goes out of the wing, and Buckner again has already got 2 scores. Contreras stops him from getting a 3rd.
Good tackle by Contreras, who's tackling a bigger receiver, trying to get him down to the ground. It's not an easy task. Contreras does a nice job.
How about Buckner? Last year had 5 receptions for 84 yards for the year, and no less than 5 in any game through the first 4 so far this season.
6 grabs on the day, Bill, for 71 yards already. So huge day again for Dan Buckner, really emerging as a threat here for the Longhorns.
3rd and goal from the 4. McCoy, plenty of time in the end zone, and incomplete, looking for Kirkendall.
Has a fastball by Colt McCoy trying to get it to James Kirkendall in the middle of the end zone, and might have been a little bit too far for him, and really kind of had a lot of juice on it too. It would have been hard to catch him, even if he'd gotten his hands on. Look at that ball coming very quickly there. Good defense though underneath for him, doing a good job holding him out of there. That's Clarence Ward in coverage.
So sets up for the field goal, and Hunter Lawrence, who had that 54-yarder just catch the crossbar and come back. This time, very makeable and knocks it home, and Texas picks up the 3, and the Longhorns continue to roll. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Austin. One of the many fountains here on the campus of University of Texas is Colt McCoy and crew resting after a very impressive opening drive to start the 3rd quarter, Gary.
Yeah, they put points on the board, get the field goal, so That's what you want to do every opportunity you can. No punts in this ball game so far by the Longhorns.
And they'll kick it off again. Davis and Kemp deep. And this is Kemp. 15-20. Breaks a tackle. Good return as he gets out across the 33-yard line. And UTEP will take control here. 8:43 to go in the quarter. And maybe that number, 8:43, is indicative of how Texas is treating the second half. A time-consuming drive, keeping on the ground, short passes that, you know, they want to get this game over with impressively and also injury-free.
Yeah, they control the clock. There's no doubt about that. They're not trying to go super up-tempo. They're jet style in the second half.
And the defense is still revved up after a stellar first half of play. Keyston Randall, the sophomore from Beaumont out of Kelly High School, made the tackle that time. First down markers brought to you by Overstock.com. Shop with a company that supports college football. Overstock.com, at home with you.
Sam Acho, Keyston Randall up front. Defensive line for the Longhorns. Played a lot of intensity today. They've had a lot of upset Trevor Vitito quite a bit. Sergio Kendall not in the ball game. They hold him out. Cautionary reason from Emily Jones on the sideline.
He's on. Second and 13. The long pass is picked off in the secondary by Gideon. Blake Gideon comes up with the pick. The sophomore from Leander, Texas. And Texas continues dominating the line of scrimmage, getting turnovers. You name it, they've done it.
Third interception today by the Longhorn defense. Well, he's just right in the middle of the field. He's watching. He's going to play back here and play center field, wait for the ball to go up in the air and make a play on it. Catches his highest point. The ball a little bit overthrown. Receiver not able to get there, but Gideon able to come down with it. So just playing center field, and that's what you do back there as a free safety.
And with this play, Will Muschamp a happy guy. Colt McCoy's done for the day, it appears, as Garrett Gilbert comes on to quarterback the Longhorns. The 6'4" freshman from Lake Travis High School here in Austin. 6'4", 207. He was very impressive in a game we did in the season opener against Louisiana Monroe. Starts off with a pass here, and still chugging away as Texas continues to move the football. Goodwin showing some strength there to go along with his speed.
Yeah, they got there to him, but they forgot to tackle him. Goodwin kept going. You see Gilbert's numbers on the year, and not a lot of work, but when he's been in there, he's been effective.
You got to develop him. He's got great tools, great potential, but as we know, with the quarterback being able to go down on any play and be done, you've got to have your backup with experience.
And this will be a good opportunity for him to hone his skills in this ball game. About a quarter and a half to go, so be able to throw it out there a lot. And they'll run the same offense with Garrett Gilbert behind as they would Colt McCoy. They're not going to miss a beat. I'm sure they'll also roll some other players in there, but the first offensive line is in there with them, and they're doing a good job of keeping the quarterback clean.
Well, Colt, 28 of 35 for 286, 3 TDs. That INT that came early on that provided the only score of the day for UTEP. That's the only mark on Colt McCoy. Just a terrific afternoon. And how about Marquise Goodwin, the 5'9", 170-pound freshman? His 2 receptions. He's shown some real toughness for a guy you would expect at that size. Here's Vondrell McGee. And out of bounds on the UTEP sideline, forced out by Brown.
Well, the 2 or 3 times that Vondrell has had his hands to the ball, he has showed explosiveness. A lot of speed through the whole long run here on the last drive, and now this one breaking free. Nobody touches him at the last scrimmage, and he goes from 0 to fast in about 2 steps. That's Vondrell McGee at his best.
Last year, 376 yards, averaged 4.3 a carry, scored 4 times. And again, Texas keeping on the ground here as McGee moves it to the 32-yard line. McGee closing in on a 100-yard mark. He had that 51-yarder, whatever it was, that set him up. Wilkins made the tackle that time.
They got the offensive line. They got the changes in there. Britt Mitchell in there tackle. Getting Vondrell McGee diving over, trying to get more yardage, but challenging now this offensive line. And you're going to talk about these guys getting some players in there, trying to get some more experience. David Snow now at center. You got Allen at the left guard. Left tackle Luke Pullman, redshirt freshman. So getting some younger guys in at the offensive line, and giving them some experience.
The 8 carries, 104 yards as they go to the airways here. And again, Marquise Goodwin stepped out of bounds, or did he, near the 18-yard line, stayed in, and clock moving, approaching the 6-minute mark as Damon Cromartie-Smith, the tackler for UTEP.
Well, this is what Greg Davis likes to see. Catch the ball and do something with it after the catch. You see Goodwin here trying to make some more yardage and be elusive and take it down and step out of the game here, but back on the field. See his superlative work in the high jump and the speed.
A two-time world junior champion, just absolutely incredible athlete. And on the ground, Texas into the end zone.
I think it's a touchdown.
They check, yes it is. Touchdown, Texas. Flag is thrown. Oh, check that.
They have a hole back here in the backfield, but good run on the outside, explosiveness.
Cody, offense, number 13, 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
Ozzie Whitaker getting the carry and thinking, I got a touchdown. What a way to start after battling. We mentioned that knee situation. And then,
yeah, you got Howard there on that tight end on the hole is what they call. Good to see Fozzie out there. He hasn't played this year, Bill. First game, he got the first opportunity. You see his numbers from last season, 284 yards. He's the guy that's got that real burst in his step as well.
Yeah. He missed 6 games last year because of the knee injury. So they just think if they can get him healthy, that he's got a heck of a lot of potential. Goodwin, good strong catch and hangs on and moves it back down inside the 18-yard line as Antoine Blake makes the tackle. And speaking of Goodwin, his days at Rowlett High School from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and his long jump in this event this year, actually, he would have won the Big 12 long jump championship.
Well, that's coming probably.
And Goodwin showing that even when you're grabbing at him, he can move it. And speaking of move it, to the end zone, touchdown, Cody Johnson. The 5'11" sophomore from Waller, Texas, gets his 5th TD of the year. He's mainly your short yardage guy, but today he shows he's got a little steam.
Well, just sealing everybody off the inside, the offensive line, the tackle, and the guard, just get down on the down lineman. It's a 3-3 package, so if you can wall off more than half of those guys with a couple of blocks, which is what they did, it's going to be a big hole there for your running back. And Cody Johnson, talked about Bill, usually a short yardage back, pounding those touchdowns in the end zone, gets his 5th on the season.
So Johnson with the TD, and now Texas for the point after, and Ryan Bailey will do the kicking this time. The senior here in Austin out of Anderson High School. Bailey, outstanding kicker in his own right. He nails this one. Texas rolling 57-7. 8 matches in a row. Welcome back, 57-7 as Texas having some fun here this afternoon, as they lead at 57-7, has scored the first 2 times that they've had the football in the 3rd quarter. And Cody Johnson, who has fought a weight battle here as much as anything else. He's a very talented guy, and he gets his opportunity here today. He's another guy. They feel that they just have yet to find that one back. But I really think it is a committee group that they feel, I would agree, Gary, that by the end of the year, they could have a heck of a rushing game to go along with the quarterback and receivers they've got.
I think they could have 2 or 3 guys easily over 500 to 600 yards, and maybe a couple of them close to 1,000. So if that's what they'd like to do, if they want to emphasize a couple of guys, they could do that. Vondrell McGee over 100 yards today with a couple of explosive runs, helping to that cause. And Cody Johnson, we saw the little burst there to get him to score. And Trey Newton is a guy who's got potential, very, very much so in his ball game. Ozzie Whitaker, another explosive back. So those 4 are the ones that Mack Brown is going to rely on to carry the load, run of the football. And Trey Newton got the start today.
All right, Lawrence will kick it off here, and again, Davis and Kemp are deep. This one, bouncing kick taken near the 20-yard line, and stopped at the 40-yard line on the play. So good field position here for UTEP. We'll be back with more with it 57-7. Back here in Austin, number 2 ranked Texas, no problem, and 57-7 with UTEP with the football here in the third quarter. And we mentioned we thought we'd see the Wildcat at some point. We are now for UTEP. It's James Thomas, the second, a junior from Palestine, Texas, who takes over now for Vidito. And he delivers the football on a first down pass and throws a strike to the 44-yard line. And let's now check in on Academy Sports and Outdoors Game Break. Here's Darren Horton. Quite a game there with the Horned Frogs and the Clemson Tigers, as here Texas decided this one a long time ago. Frazier that time with the carry and is stopped at the 41-yard line. Earl Thomas making the tackle.
I think it's a good move here to get Trevor Vidito out of the ball game here for UTEP and get James Thomas a chance to play. You know, we talked to Aaron Price, the offensive coordinator. The
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 21. 15 yards. First down.
Blake Video.
Yeah, going to add that on to the end of the run there. So, but we talked to Coach Price about getting him into ball game, and he felt like he wanted to get him under center, let him play the full quarterback series in there, not necessarily just a wildcat. So they feel like he's got some abilities that they like to utilize. Surprisingly, the first play from scrimmage, he throws the football. So,
and it was an impressive fastball that he delivered as well. There's Thomas, his passing yards, his rushing yards for his career. Thomas had come in here, he'd run it 4 times for 24 yards and receiving for 1 for a yard or 2. And Frazier, the carry here. Frazier, a sophomore from Duncanville, Texas, in the Dallas area, come in with 6 carries for 24 yards, has scored a couple of touchdowns.
Pretty much all reserves now for Texas along the defensive front, and the linebackers in there getting some extra depth and get some chance to play in this football game. Secondary still dotted with some of the starters.
Shuttle some receivers in and out as Pierce Hunter goes out and giving those twos a chance here today. Why not? Thomas trying to avoid the tackle and cannot. Is brought down. Emmanuel Acho, I believe. And another flag is thrown late here.
It's a good job of diagnosing the play by Acho, coming across, counter play, backside guard, tackle, pull, and he comes underneath him, makes a nice tackle. So good skills. He's played well in the last 2 or 3 games as well when he stepped in there.
Dead ball. Unnecessary roughness. Offense number 70. 15 yards from the end of the run. Third down.
Solid, Alex Solid.
And he's a guy that they feel like has got a lot of potential. Big size, 6'8", 320-pounder, and good athlete. You know, for like he's got a 30-inch vertical jump, and Solid as a guy that they want to get some more experience, get a chance to play in there. Getting called for a penalty though.
Texas crowd that has remained supportive here as it's a third down. And Vidito back in at the quarterback slot. This pass is juggled and then dropped, intended for number 19, Evan Davis.
That ball should have been caught. Wouldn't have been a first down. Going to be converging for the Texas defense, but you got to catch that football.
Keenan Robinson covering on the play, and Vidito through will exit.
Yeah. Surprising here that Jordan Shipley's going to go back to return this punt. But he's sure-handed, so you never know. Big play opportunities here for Jordan Shipley.
The day he's having in the punt return, well, just in general. Anytime he gets his hand on the ball, he may be headed to the house. So, on a 4th down, booted away by Greg Hyatt. Shipley, fair catch called here, makes the grab at the 22-yard line. Texas will take over with 2:33 to go in the third period here at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin. Haven't been with us throughout. Crazy start to this game where Texas recovered a fumble and scored. Nate Newton's son, Trey Newton, got that touchdown to start him off with. And Daddy is standing on the sideline right now with Emily Jones.
That's right.
But hey, you got to be ready when it pops up. And he did okay. Main thing, they winning.
And he had a touchdown. That had to make you happy.
Yeah, but you know what? I just wanted to be so much bigger for him. I look at his face, and when he a down, it kind of makes me a little down, you know.
When you look at what he's done over his high school career and now here at Texas, I know you talk about how proud you are of him. When you talk about being a father, does it make you more nervous when you were playing or now that you're watching Trey?
Watching him, man. I mean, he's a running back, you know. He depends on other guys to make holes, and boy, when he get popped, it kind of just scares you. So I wish he was offensive lineman. It'd be much easier.
I forgot to mention that you're also one of us now. You're working for this very network, doing some football analyst work for us, and so you're kind of teammates now with Gary Reason. I wondered if he ever, you know, if you got a good block on him ever.
Yeah, I got a few blocks on him, but you know, the main block that counts is the one that extra Super Bowl. He got 2 rings, I got 3, so I got the extra block.
All right, I'm not going to argue with you, Nate. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
All right.
Well, I got the microphone, so I get the last word. But
he got the rest of the season.
He's a heck of a player, and more importantly, a dad. And you know, the thing that he's instilled, and I believe that Mack Brown has continued it, is the team player concept. And you know, Trey was part of a great Dallas Cowboy run there with 3 Super Bowl wins. I had a chance to, you know, be in a team that was focused on one thing, and that's winning. Well, that's what Mack Brown talks about, and all the players. Trey Newton is one of those. And when he talked to us about Trey, one of the things he told us about him, he said, more importantly than anything is his unselfishness and team attitude. Talked about scoring his first touchdown. Instead of getting real excited about it, he ran 50 yards to the nearest referee to hand him the football instead of celebrating with his teammates. And they were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He goes, well, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
So just a character player, and that comes from his parents. And congratulations, that young man for getting his first start today.
Yeah, I end up with 9 carries for 25 yards. That's why Nate's talking about, hey, I wish he'd had a little bit bigger coming out party, if you will. But he was big in the Texas Tech game. That was a highly contested game, and he will get many more opportunities. And today, as Gilbert is the quarterback here now on this drive, a second down, he's going to get smothered here. Today, they were able to throw the ball so effectively early, it didn't turn to the run. But they still like Trey Newton. Here's Mack Brown with more on Trey.
Trey was the guy waiting on his chance. What you have to give him credit for is when he had that chance, he took advantage of it. So he's not playing because other people got hurt. He is playing because when he got his chance, he took advantage of it.
That meaning 20 carries, 88 yards against Texas Tech last week.
Yeah, some of his characteristics: good vision, you know, good speed, team guy, guy that's kind of got a slash capability, gets a hole, hits it, runs downhill. That's what you like to have in the back, and could have a great long career here and put up some good numbers, and I'm sure that's what he'd like to do in his career as a Longhorn. 3rd and 9 incompletion for Garrett Gilbert, and Texas will now punt it away as UTEP get the football, and Justin Tucker will come on for the University of Texas, their first punt of the afternoon, as Tucker, the sophomore from Austin Westlake, will kick it away. Get Maturi back, and Maturi's only touched 1 football today. Hasn't had a chance in the punt and return game to catch the football. This is the first opportunity.
And he goes out of bounds.
Yeah, they're not going to allow him to do it either. So, you know, they knew that he could be an explosive player. They've taken him out of the ball game for the Miners and have not been able to. The Miners have not found a way to get him the football.
Yeah, Maturi as a sophomore was a first-team all-conference pick in Conference USA, and he has not been a factor at all today. A player down for UTEP here. Mike Price comes out to take a look back on the 45-yard line. Hot afternoon here in Austin with virtually no wind, and since they've added to this stadium and continue to enclose it, it can be a furnace down there on the playing surface. And Emily was reporting earlier some of the IVs and some of the cramping that was going on, and I don't know if this is more serious than that or not, but it's going to continue here the rest of this afternoon.
Yeah, and you know, last week, Bill, this atmosphere in this stadium was pretty electric. You know, Texas Tech coming in here, early conference game. That's a big concern for Mack Brown and that. And last week in that game, they really...
Brief break. We'll come back and update you on the injury situation with Texas rolling here. Big hand for Eric Reynolds as he was down until just a moment ago, and then he actually stood up. He was motionless. Reynolds, the junior from Port Arthur Memorial High School here in Texas. It's hard to tell exactly what happened, Gary.
Yeah, he's actually going to get a little contact there. He's on the edge, and I think he's got a little woozy from the initial contact. Then he just went down. You know, it's hot out there and a little bit of heat dehydration.
Yeah, he got up there on his own power, though, and prior to that, for the entire period, there was no movement whatsoever, and we obviously feared the worst, as did this crowd here, and they're giving him a nice round of applause as Eric Reynolds is carted off.
And Mike Price walked over from his sideline, and Matt Brown actually went out there and gave the young man a little bit of encouragement, talked to Coach Price. It's something that no coach or anybody wants to see as a player go down and be injured like that. And good to see him get up and get moving.
Final 13 seconds of the third quarter here, with UTEP owning the football. And Vinatieri back there at the quarterback spot, incomplete. Churi, the intended receiver, as it'll be second down and 10. Texas led 23-7 at the quarter, 47-7 at the half, and with 9 seconds to go here in the third quarter, 57-7. Played it very conservative for the most part, and now all the substitutes in for UT offensively for sure. And 9 seconds to go, second and 10. Vinatieri, they're coming after it, and it's picked off. Another interception. Ben Wells, a sophomore from Beaumont, and Wells makes the INT. The turnover party continues for UT.
Watch Ben Alexander, number 92, get back here, and he may get his hand on this football, Bill, up just a little bit underneath. And see the interception there. Good job coming around the receiver. Wells on the zone blitz coming out of there, or Alexander rather.
Intended for Russell Carr, the receiver, and Wells with his first interception of the season. And 4 seconds to go in the third quarter. So Garrett Gilbert's crew will get one play, and they get the football with it on the 27-yard line. And the handoff, DJ Monroe, or no, Fozzie Whitaker. Whitaker moving people. Takes it down to the 13 to end the quarter.
And that's a good sign for Fozzie Whitaker, who's had kind of a tough knee situation early on. Looks strong.
The end of the third quarter. Texas rolling 57-7. You're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Welcome back to Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin, with the Longhorns pounding the UTEP Miners, and after another interception by the Texas secondary, looking for more to start the fourth quarter. Texas with 520 yards offense to 40 for UTEP, and the Longhorns first and 10 from the 13-yard line. Fozzie Whitaker bounces outside. They won't stop him. Touchdown Longhorns. 13 yards in the score for Whitaker.
Now, two things on that, Bill: vision and speed. Fozzie Whitaker has both, so good job here reading it around. Was going to take it inside, follow the guard there, but he didn't want to do that. He saw the outside lane open up, and with his speed, takes it to the end zone.
So Whitaker on the field for the first time this year, and with a TD.
And that's kind of been plaguing here for UTEP in this ball game. 4 interceptions on the day, and all those interceptions turn into points here at Texas in a hostile environment. You just can't make those mistakes.
Bailey for the point after for his second try, and it is good. And Texas continues to pour it on, 64-7. And there's been a lot of great plays, but the Whataburger what a play. You got to go back to the UT kick return for a TD, where Monroe with 91 yards right after Stevenson had the pick six.
Yep. Well, 13 seconds. We clocked it. He just didn't get touched, and DJ doesn't disappoint with his speed.
His second TD on a kick return for the season. DJ Monroe on the Whataburger what a play, as Texas leads at 64-7, and Fozzie Whitaker getting the touchdown here. You take a look how they spread that out. Whitaker, Johnson, Buckner's got 2. You got McGee, Newton, Shipley. Is that 6 or 7 different people have scored touchdowns? That's what Mike Leach calls balance. You know, he said it's not running and passing even, it's how many different people you have involved in your game. And that makes a pretty good point. Texas has been very balanced from that aspect here today. The kick return stopped at the 21-yard line. And time for an Academy Sports and Outdoors game break. Let's check in with Darren Horton. Wow. Absolutely incredible every weekend, and we aren't through September yet, folks.
And the one thing I agree with them, the old school unis, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, they've got their choice, that's for sure. All right, we'll take a brief break here with 14:47 to go on a timeout called, and Texas leading at 64-7. Texas 64-7 is UTEP following the timeout. We'll have possession as Mike Price, 160 wins in his 28 years of coaching, and he hasn't seen a lot of these days where his team is just totally being dominated in this game. James Thomas, the second I should say, is the quarterback again here. He keeps it and is tackled near the 31. Ben Wells makes the tackle.
Thomas has the skills of being a quarterback back there that runs that zone read pretty well. And take a look at the numbers here.
How about this for the defense? Only 40 yards prior to that play that the Longhorns have allowed. The fewest they ever allowed was 19 that they gave up to SMU in 1943. Texas won that game 20-0. Today, 64-7 with 14-12 to go. Thomas again keeps the football, looking for a blocker. He ran into a lineman instead of UT and lost his helmet along with it.
Yeah, back to the point about the score, 7 points. That was a defensive score.
Yeah.
Melvin Stevenson taking that interception from Colt McCoy in the first quarter, turning around, but there's pretty good pop.
Yeah.
Oh, the old Wildcat helmet flying away.
Well, Texas came in here 30th in the country at 328 yards of total offense allowed per game. And unless UTEP has a sensational fourth quarter, a big dent down, and that is going to happen after today. And not much doing here for Kyle Wright, who gets his first snap, the senior out of Santa Rosa, California.
Man, gets just their 6th first down of the day on that play. Going to move the sticks, so.
On the big picture, when you're UTEP and you look at Kyle Wright, he's a guy that if Minnesota would get injured, that they feel he could run. Pretty much they got in their offense, been around, knows it, very smart. You don't have to change a whole lot game to game. So obviously they still want to get him some snaps too as they look down the road and get to conference play next week against Houston. Handoff here and nothing doing, and again they're going to reverse. Vernon Frazier stopped on the play, and Emmanuel Acho with it. How big a day for Texas? Well, not only a dominating win here in volleyball, where Texas and Nebraska, two of the biggest powers in the Big 12 and in the country, win at it in Lincoln, and Texas wins, and the Longhorns stopping a Nebraska home court winning streak. If you haven't been up there, they sell out at their Coliseum up there, and I believe it was in the 80s how many matches they've won in a row, going back to 88 since Texas had won in Nebraska. So congratulations to the Longhorns there. Fumble. Frazier coughed it up. Wells going after it, and did he get out of bounds first before someone else actually fell on it?
Out of bounds, but the fumble's probably going to come back to the point of the fumble. Ball's fumbled around the. They're bringing it back to the previous spot, huh?
There's Wells. And then is that Roberson in there, number 30 also? He made the hit. Roberson did.
They're bringing it back to where the original line of scrimmage there. Each can't advance that far the yardage.
So 3rd and 13 now for UTEP.
A little late on the snap. Everybody else moved with the center.
False start. Offense, 74. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
You see Mike Price there, and You know, he's one of the active, winningest active coaches out there. He's 11th on the list, Bill, 160 wins, and he's a quality coach, 28th season, doing this, just loves football, loves what he does. He works real well with the kids. I remember broadcast a number of his games, roughly these at Washington State. Had a great rapport up there, great tradition that he started. And hoping to have the same kind of success. Into a couple bowl games with UTEP early on, and a couple of years not in bowl games, and hoping to turn around this season. But as things move forward for UTEP, they're in a tough conference. I mean, they're the tough division.
USA has really come along.
Yeah, they've got Houston after this, so it just doesn't get much easier for Mike Price and his ball club.
Well, and he told us, he said, hey, we got a couple bowl games first couple of years when he won 8 games in 04 and 05, and he said, then I got a genius and decided to schedule a little tougher. And he goes, here we go this year, we got Kansas and Texas, of course. Last year they had Texas down there, and he said Buffalo's a whole lot better than when we originally scheduled them. And he goes, so we're going to have to fight at this point. Well, Texas stops them again. They'll get it back after the Peterson punt, and we'll be right back in a moment. Well, Texas well on its way to another victory here today, and we'll take a look at our Polaris hard work play. It goes to Colt McCoy, who was just phenomenal.
Yeah, just another day at the office for Colt McCoy. Touchdown throw here to Dan Buckner. Pretty good receptions on the day for him and what he's done. Jordan Shipley, his old reliable self, 11-12 grabs on the day. Dan Buckner with the catch of the day. Colt McCoy, he's the orchestrator of this Texas offense. And hey, he's on top of his game. Very sharp today. Came out fast. Came out with a lot of vigor in his step. Had one poor throw that was returned for a touchdown, but other than that, that's the only blemish on his card. 20 of 35. Still a very workmanlike day for Colt McCoy. Exceptional job completion percentage, the production, and last year runner-up to the Heisman Trophy, Bill, and he's going to make another strong run for it if the Horns are able to continue to play well, put up numbers, and as they move into conference play, they've got a week off this coming week, and then they get to play Colorado. But I think that Colt probably hasn't done anything at all to hurt his chances to be in that discussion once again.
No, and it is still early, but now that you get through September, you also would look around and say, okay, early on before the season started, obviously Bradford and Tebow and Colt McCoy were the 3 clear-cut guys. Well, Bradford is out. Tebow has been good, but not phenomenal. Colt, as we mentioned, such a great second half. Today put it all together. And here is Hills, who had the first carry a moment ago, gets his second, and what a dandy is he bulldozes his way down inside the 35-yard line of UTEP.
It's interesting, though, as you get the run game going here for the Longhorns, you get the extra guys in there trying to get them some experience. You see the block in there up front. That's what you want to have, and it all comes with success with this offense. And Colt McCoy has been orchestrating that now for the last 3 years. He's the winningest quarterback in school history, and with that territory, all the things that you do as a quarterback, it's all magnified. There's so much talk about him, so much talk about all of the different things that go on with it.
Rod Harris, the quarterback fumbled, and then Hills caught it himself, and here he goes. The 15, the 10, he lost it again. It's in the end zone, and UTEP recovers it there.
Wow.
My goodness, maybe he was eating one of those turkey legs that Mike Price was telling us about. He had the greased fingers and just could not hang on to the football.
Looks like he's going to make up a huge play, if not a touchdown, but it just pops out of his hands. First of all, behind the line of scrimmage, when he got the ball handed off to him, he didn't secure it. Then it popped up to him and dropped it again.
Oh, feel for the young man here. He saw end zone. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Austin, where Texas putting the finishing touches at 9:30 to go on this UTEP team, and that is Eric Reynolds, the player that was down for UTEP, that was motionless, then got up on his own and got onto the cart. What a great sight to see him just come back on to the field and over to the UTEP bench, that he obviously is going to be okay. What a great sign there. Meanwhile, UTEP, after recovering that fumble that Jeremy Hills just could not find the handle on, gets the ball at the 20-yard line, and it'll be 2nd down and 10 now for the Miners.
It's just kind of crazy plays, bumbling that ball around and can't get it to hang in there and miss the scoring opportunity, but turnover, so Miners now have it.
Here is Kyle Wright. Quarterback flushed out of the pocket, and he has brought down a sack on the play. The Texas defense that has just been overwhelming for Will Muschamp continues.
Well, got a tough offensive day here for UTEP, Bill. Not getting anything going. Total yards, we showed it earlier, 40. Now it's up to 55 yards in the ball game, and they haven't really been able to do anything against this Texas defense. They've been stingy. They've been efficient. They have not found a way to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. Jeff Moturi, really only 1 touch in his ball game, 1 reception. A guy who's a big playmaker for him. Been a tough day here and a great effort by this Longhorn defense.
Higgins got to him the last time. Here's a pass that is complete, and again the defense is there as the Miners get stuffed on the pass play to Jason Williams, and Beasley makes the tackle. Deion Beasley. Williams is a junior from Tyler Lee High School here in Texas. As Beasley out of West Orange Stark High School, the senior corner, makes the stop.
It's going to be able to bring up a 4th down, a punting situation, so you get the return team on here for the Longhorns, and not going to have Jordan Shipley back. This is the 2nd punt returner back there for him.
Curtis Brown is back for UT, and Hyatt again on the goal line this time. No rush though, and boots away a pretty good punt. It takes a minor bounce, and Texas will just stay away from it and get it around the 30. Timeout on the field with 7:20 to go, and Texas 64-7 leader. That's what kind of day it's been. Just blowing a few bubbles here. Relaxing for Texas. Here's the Hampton Hotel TD of the game to Dan Buckner. Had a great day, great catch.
Right hand pulls it in, left hand secures it. Excellent grab by Dan Buckner. This is just a great throw by Colt McCoy as well, but definitely the TD of the day.
Buckner 6 grabs, 71 yards, 2 TDs, 4 on the year now, and Buckner with 23 receptions for a guy that not many people even knew who he was prior to the start of this season. And last year had 5 receptions on the year. He's getting better. How about that number? The Longhorns with over 600 yards offense for the 20th time, the 10th time under Mack Brown in his 12th season. And they keep it on the ground to start here. First down marker is brought to you by Overstock.com. At Overstock.com, our award-winning customer service will make you feel at home with the O.
600-yard day. Well, me being an old defensive guy, those days are long. You're out there on the wrong side of that.
Well, it's still 6:49 to go, and Texas has been very conservative in the second half.
Yeah, they really haven't tried to be explosive, but
nothing sneaky.
Getting the run game going, just running their play, running their offense. Quality time for the reserve offensive linemen, the backup receivers, running backs, quarterbacks.
Berryhill carrying the football here.
McGee having the biggest day of the Longhorns running backs, over 100 yards, 104 yards on 8 carries. So he had some explosive runs, including a touchdown. Trey Newton starting the ball game. 9 for 25 and it scores. So getting a lot of guys in the action here running the football for the Longhorns.
And the handoff again. Again, that is Berryhill with it. And be a first down for UT. Longhorns getting everybody a shot here. Trevor Walker with a grin on his face just tells you alone what's going on. He's like, wow.
Well, these guys, they all come out here in the stadium and they practice and they do things, but to get a chance to go out there in a meaningful and a real ball game and a chance to play and contribute, that's what it's about. That's what they're looking for. And they know their opportunities are ahead of them because Colt McCoy is certainly the leader of this team, and any chance you get to go out there and play and in front of a crowd like this, and it's certainly special.
Walker hands it off here, And again, Berryhill pulling his way down to the 42-yard line. And let's go down to Emily Jones now.
Well, guys, in the Texas Media Guide, there's a get-to-know-you section in the player profiles. And one of the questions asked is, nobody knows I can, and then the players are supposed to fill in the blank. There are actually 4 Texas Longhorns who filled in that blank by saying, nobody knows I can do backflips, okay? 2 of those guys are kickers. One's a linebacker, but the one that piqued my interest, Michael Huey, he's 6'5", 320 pounds. So we had to ask Colt McCoy, is it true?
Michael Huey, 6'5", 320, plays on the offensive line, says he can do a backflip. Maybe so.
And I kind of had the same reaction. Who knows, but he did say that he could do backflips, gentlemen.
Not much of a confirmation. Texas turns it over here, and then on the return, there's a flip back. And the fumble recovery, and then finally ending up with the football for the Miners, number 25. That's Chris Vassell.
Take a look at it here coming downhill. Berryhill, the ball pops right up, right into the Miners' hand. So Ortiz pitches it back, and
actually Brandon Miller comes up with it, the junior for the Miners.
He looks it back just like Emily was talking about, that backflip.
Ortiz is the one that came up with the recovery. So now Kyle Wright back on here for UTEP with 4:36 remaining in the football game. He's going deep and inside the 10. Flag is thrown on the incompletion. As colliding, you saw Beasley down there.
Pass interference. Defense, number 7. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So that'll give UTEP a bit of a break and move it down inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. There's
Michael Huey.
Michael Huey.
You know, I'm going to challenge Emily. You know, she works Big 12 showcase.
Yeah.
She gets to cover these guys. And I think probably maybe in the spring, you know, when Michael's got a lot of time, I said, we practice this. Maybe she can challenge him to make that come true. And she can confirm that for us.
Why shouldn't you believe it?
Come on. He's a junior. He'll be back, you know. I'm not saying we don't believe it, but for a big old guy like that,
It'd be quite a feat, wouldn't
it'd be a great feat. Just athletic.
Yeah. 4:21 remaining. Clock stopped on incompletion, and UTEP with it 2nd and 10, trailing 64-7.
Okay, Em, is that on your chalkboard?
Not hearing from her, are we?
They were talking to me. Oh, there they are. Hey, guys. It is. It's on my list of things to do.
All right.
I want to do it in the off season, though, just in case something were to go terribly wrong.
Yeah, I think Mac would prefer that, too. Right. Across the middle and incomplete. And with 4:14 to go. In a moment, a number of our networks are going to be leaving to go to various games around the country. We'll keep you updated on how this one ends up as far as a final score. Many of you will be leaving at the top of the hour to go to games in your part of the country. .64-7 here with 4:14 to go. And Kyle Wright trying to get UTEP into the end zone. They have one touchdown today, and that was the interception. Would love to get an offensive TD. They're 1 of 11 on 3rd down. He's in trouble here, make it 1 of 12. And at this point, Mike Price, I don't think he's into kicking field goals, is he? For those of you that have stayed with us, glad to have you aboard here with 3:50 to go. And looks like UTEP is going to try a field goal here. They just want something positive on the day. So Logan Barrett, the freshman from Kennedale, Texas, 2 of 3 in field goal attempts this year. And this one a 47-yarder. He's got the distance, but it is no good.
Pulled it left. Yeah, would have been offensive points. The only points on the board so far for the Miners are 7 points. Defense scored there, so Will Muschamp's defense still pitching the shutouts.
Yeah, they're going to get a little break. They've only given up 18 points a game so far through this season. Gary, let's talk a little bit about what's ahead for Texas, because they got the jump in conference play last week, and now
got a bye week coming up.
Got a bye week, and then Colorado, but Oklahoma, at Missouri, at Oklahoma State. So they've got 3 ranked teams after that Colorado game. And we'll have a chance to talk about that here in just a moment as well, because kind of a chance to regroup, no matter, even though they're unbeaten at this point. Wright hands it off here, or rather Walker hands it off here. You know, we talk a lot about high-tech stuff these days, and Colt McCoy, you can imagine how he gets inundated with things. Well, we had a chance to visit with him, find out, do his friends ever text him as to how he's playing?
I have a group of friends back home who send me funny text messages all the time, like, you know, hey, what were you thinking on this play? Why did you do that? Dude, I could have ran around that guy and made the first. That was nothing. You know, things like that really coming from them crack me up.
Now you can bet he probably got some texts when Stevenson picked off that pass in the first quarter going, dude, he was playing you all the way. Did you see it? You know?
He just came down and took that throw. And I asked him, I said, you know, how many text messages do you get a day? He seemed he didn't really want to give an answer, but I think it's quite a few. And he says he reads every single one of them. Doesn't know if he responded to all of them, but there's demands on his time. That was the point I was trying to make earlier, is that this quarterback, you know, he leads this team. He leads by example. He's actually, you know, he's obviously a student as well. But the demands on his time are impressive. You know, yesterday, Texas does not do a walkthrough on Friday afternoon with their players. They actually take that time and they go to the Children's Hospital. And that's one of the things that Colt did. He came over and visited with us just after he had gone to visit the hospital. They do that every Friday on a home game. So kind of a tradition that they've had, and he really enjoys doing that and brightening the day of you know, folks in the hospital and that kind of thing, and brightening kids' day. And that's pretty important for him.
Well, guys, you were talking about that text messaging thing, all this technology, Twitter and Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Mac Brown actually does a blog that he posts on Texas football website. And he says, you know, I do it because we're trying to stay cool, we're trying to stay relevant. He said the kids we're recruiting now were 5 years old when we got to Texas. So I have to make sure that I stay young and hip and with the times. Yeah,
good point. And that has become a big part of it with everything that's going on these days. And Gary, you're talking about the demands on their time. For somebody like Colt McCoy, it's just absolutely incredible that he can do the things he can do and still do that. And
5 yards, 4th down.
Particularly for the quarterback, because he organizes the team in the summer when coaches can't have contact. He runs the team in the summer and all that, and it all gets paid off this time of year.
Yeah, and especially a guy who's as high profile as Colt McCoy. And just think of John Bianco, the sports information director for the football program. All the things that he deals with Colt, he spends more time with him than his family, because he's dealing with media requests, with all the things that he has to do. And, you know, it's tasking on a young man, you know, just not out of school yet, but still, there's a lot of demands on his time, and that goes with the territory of being a high-profile collegiate athlete.
John Gold, the punter that time, who averages nearly 47 yards a boot. That one 40 yards, and UTEP will take over here with 1:09 to go, and the ball on their 30-yard line. This one was over at the half, 47-7, and the second half has been strictly recess, as Texas able to enjoy this one. And for UTEP, it'll be a tough one to take and then go back and get ready for Houston. And Houston's playing Texas Tech tonight, so either way, it's going to be an emotional game for the Cougars as they get ready for UTEP. And the Miners keep it on the ground here in this final minute of play. Williams, the ball carrier.
It looks like they just got over 50 yards probably with that run. So UTEP not a great day offensively. There's better days ahead for them, but their conference, as we talked about earlier, Bill, is pretty difficult. You know, they've got some teams that are playing quality football. You mentioned Houston. We saw them play Oklahoma State and give them a defeat. So, you know, it's not an easy road ahead here for Mike Price and his football team.
No, Southern Miss that lost by 7 today at the University of Kansas. Of course, they got Tulsa coming up, and Texas has Central Florida later on in the season from Conference USA. In a game with Texas Tech ended up being flip-flopped to Central Florida, so they'll have a non-conference game with their Conference USA team later on. Well, this one is all over as Texas and Mack Brown waiting to see if there'll be one more play. Clock at 9 seconds and counting here. And the Longhorns with another unbelievable performance offensively and defensively. They put it together. 638 yards of offense and held UTEP to 53 yards of offense. Coming up later, our college football Saturday tripleheader continues with a Pac-10 showdown from Washington as Washington State beats number 10 USC. For Gary Reasons, Emily Jones, and our entire college football Saturday crew, this is Bill Land saying so long from Austin. Once again, Longhorns win it 64-7 over UTEP.
Thank you very much. Welcome to our College Football Saturday studios. Darren Horton with you. So much to get you caught up on this busy week 4. When we return, a big one in the Pac-10. Number 6 Cal and Eugene with a resurgent Ducks went old school with the throwback uniforms. Would it impact the game? We'll have highlights when our College Football Saturday halftime show continues in just a moment. We are at halftime in Austin, Texas, where number 2 has been dominant in this first half. 47-7, a 91-yard kickoff return by DJ Monroe, and the Longhorns have it rolling. Darren Horton back with you for our College Football Saturday halftime show. We are now 4 weeks into the season, and we're starting to get a sense of the teams who have a legitimate shot to play for the national title in Pasadena come January. One of those teams are the Crimson Tide of Alabama, number 3 in the nation. Greg McElroy going up top. That's Marquise Mays, who can't hold on. The Tide struggled early on in this one, but in the second quarter, still no score. Look at the true freshman. Trent Richardson gets the handoff, says, "Get off of me," breaks some tackles. He's going 52 yards all the way for the touchdown, and Alabama on the board 7-0. Later in the second, same score. Alabama working a little trickery to perfection. McElroy connecting up top. Julio Jones, 50-yard touchdown, and the Tide is rolling right now 14-0 at the half. Pac-10 action in Eugene, number 6 Cal playing the Ducks. Second quarter, Jeremiah Masoli downfield. Ed Dixon, that's their first passing touchdown of the season. Later, the Ducks put some trickery on a 2-point PAT. Nate Costa to the kicker, who scores the PAT. Oregon up 11-3. Later in the second, after an Oregon turnover, Kevin Riley and Jabin Best botched the handoff. Oregon would recover. Cal struggling in this one. Ensuing drive, Remedy Austin powers his way into the end zone. The Ducks smelling upset. Under 2 minutes left in the first half, LaMichael James scampers his way into the end zone for a touchdown, 25-3. They are in the third. In ACC action, number 13, Miami and Blacksburg, first quarter. Ja'Cory Harris hit by Dorian Porch. He comes up with the recovery. Virginia Tech in business after the turnover. Ensuing Hokies possession from 2 yards out. Ryan Williams diving across to give the Hokies the 7-0 lead. Still in the first, Hokies not letting up from the shotgun. Tyrod Taylor airing it out. Jarrett Boykin, 48 yards for the score. Virginia Tech with a 14-0 lead. We go ahead, second quarter action, Miami and Virginia Tech territory. Harris drops back, taken down by Jason Worlds with the sack. So the Virginia Tech defense forcing Miami to punt. And later in the second, Miami punting, and it's blocked by Jacob Sykes. Mad scramble for the ball. Matt Reedy recovers. Frank Beamer and that special teams unit has the Hokies up 21-0. You take a look at the numbers for Tyrod Taylor. As he goes, so do the Hokies. The completion percentage, not that impressive. Sacked 11 times, but doing a great job today against the Hurricane. Up next is number 19, Kansas for real. Our first game of the day saw the Jayhawks slug it out with Southern Miss. Highlights from the Big 12 when our College Football Saturday halftime show continues in just a moment. Again, we're at halftime in Austin, Texas. You're listening to the Longhorn Band on display at the break. 47-7, number 2 Texas all over the UTEP Miners. In the meantime, let us use our Pac-10 Field Pass, Game 3 of our triple-header, features the return of the freshman phenom Matt Barkley, who wasn't able to play in the loss to Washington. He starts tonight at the Coliseum. We'll kick it off at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Train Whiz time, we introduce you to Adam Ulatowski, the senior offensive tackle from Southlake, Texas, has a 3.89 GPA in the grad school, studying advertising. Favorite book, Scar Tissue, the autobiography of Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Haven't read that one. The John Candy look-alike, well, he's landed his dream date, set to marry his fiancée, Emily. We'll have more highlights when we continue here on our halftime show. Again, we are at halftime in Austin, Texas. Number 2 Texas with a dominant performance in the first half. Colt McCoy, 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Dan Buckner, 47-7. Our score, number 2, rolling over UTEP. Upset in the making in Clemson. First quarter off the play fake. This is Andy Dalton to Curtis Clay. TCU with a 7-3 lead at this point, but later in the second, C.J. Spiller taking the handoff, lunging in for the short touchdown. Right now, 10-7. Clemson on top of number 14. Earlier today, you saw it here on College Football Saturday, Desmond Briscoe finding some space and getting the ball across the goal line for the touchdown. Jayhawks with a 21-14 lead at the break. Third quarter action. Kansas now up 28-21. Southern Miss threatening. Austin Davis connects with Jonathan Massey for the touchdown. They had 14 unanswered at that point. Fourth quarter, though, here come the Jayhawks. Reesing, Kerry Meyer wide open. His second touchdown catch of the day. Kansas up 35-28. Under 2 to go. Mississippi State, Southern Mississippi, I should say, looking to rally. But Jake lapped it, and after Davis takes it down for the sack, the Jayhawks, they end that 8-game win streak. Kansas State, they win big in Manhattan, 49-7. Daniel Thomas, 26 carries, 162, a couple of touchdowns. Still to come, under the lights in the Big 12 in Stillwater, Des Bryant and number 16, Oklahoma State. They meet the famous Grambling State Tigers. We're expecting fireworks to go off for Houston and Texas Tech. 23rd ranked Cougars with that powerful offense. And number 24, Nebraska welcomes in Louisiana Lafayette. It'll be the 300th consecutive sellout for the Huskers in Lincoln. But right now, Colt McCoy, after an early pick 6, has the Longhorns rolling. 3 touchdown passes for the reigning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Be interesting to see how long he stays in the game. When we return, we're going to take you back to Austin. Number 2 Texas dominating the UTEP Miners. Bill Land, Gary Reason, and Emily Jones will take it from there. This is College Football Saturday. Enjoy the second half, everybody.